Here you can see the expected conditions class living in the appropriate namespace. And these expected conditions are basically those explicit waits that we wrote for different kinds of possibilities. So you can see that we can wait for an expected condition such as alert is present, or an element exists, or an element is visible, or an element selection state to be a certain locator. We can look for invisibility of element located, and then you supply a locator. We can check for text to be present in an element, or we can check for that the title is something specific, or that a URL contains some specific fraction, or URL matches some regex. So you can see there are many different kinds of expected conditions, and that's why I said that this code right here is not too important, because in this case we were waiting for an element to exist, right? We were doing the find element, so we were waiting for an element to exist. However, that expected condition is already present for us, and so we can just use the expected conditions class to wait for that condition and save us a couple lines of code and just make our code more readable in that way. So in this case, for test 1 being fixed explicitly, we're waiting for an element to be clickable, right? If you remember the slow animation URL, that's the one where you fill out the forms. We're waiting for the purchase button, the go button, to be clickable before we click it. So here, that's what's going to happen is the expected conditions and the WebDriver wait will poll the DOM for 15 seconds for this condition to be true before trying to click. If it doesn't happen, the expected conditions class throws a no such element, a WebDriver timeout exception if that's not possible. And then on the next step, we assert that it's true, and then again we use our wait dot until expected conditions that an element is visible by ID success and that it's displayed. And so we're going to assert that this element is displayed. So we're going to wait for it to be visible for 15 seconds and then assert that it's displayed, whether it's true. So rather than talking, let me show you this test executing, and so then you'll be able to see everything going on. So I'm going to go ahead and run this test so that you can see it running in real time, right? Because as you know, creating a test on a developer environment and then running it in continuous integration are two totally separate things, because flakiness comes in your developer environment. In your continuous integration environment. So you'll see that the purchase button was clicked and this test was passed successfully within 8 seconds. But however, did you see something weird? Let me go back to here and let's debug this test. Did you see something weird about this test? It seemed to run pretty fast, right? And even though the loading spinner was still loading, the test somehow still passed. Let's take a look at this again. Now we're going to put this on the side. There's the browser coming up. So we're going to wait until the go button, and then the go button is going to get clicked. And watch, this is still loading, but we're over here at this expected condition. And then when I step over it, it passes. Why does it pass? Well, because our success element is visible, right? At the point when I checked it, the purchase was visible, but the whole string purchase complete with the exclamation point was not loaded yet. However, this condition was true and the element was displayed, so technically it passed, but we still didn't finish for the element to be loading. So let me just finish up running the test so that it kills the browsers.